I'm recording in one of my favorite places in the whole world, and it makes perfect sense because it has to do with finding where you are in the plan of God. So here's what I want you to think about just briefly. When we think about the idea of what's happening in our lives, many Christians live in total dread of making a mistake, of finding that somehow they chose the wrong path. Like there's this fork in the road, and once you make a mistake, everything's over, and they get all bent around the axle on that. Or others take it in such a laissez-faire, such a let-it-be kind of attitude that they don't really give it serious thought at all. And so then the other side of it, to make it even worse, is there's so many different books and blogs and video casts and so forth trying to lay it out and put the right label on everything. So I'm going to kind of walk you through the way I think about it. Don't get hung up in the labels that I'm using. They are not biblical labels. But do think about the concepts and ask yourself and ask the Lord, is this consistent with your word? Is this consistent with what you want? And I can tell you from my own experience that if it is, for you, you will find it very satisfying. So I want you to think about sort of three things. The first word is purpose. And purpose, again, you've got books out there on that, purpose-driven this and purpose-driven that. Don't get hung up in the usage of it. Just ask yourself this question: why am I here? And more importantly, and the broadening of the question really helps, is why are we here? Why has God created you? Why has God created man? Why does all of this even exist? And so I'm going to give you, I think that's the right thing. We got to understand with the why am I here question. It's very existential, but it feeds into the rest of the questions we'll talk about briefly. So why am I here? Why did God even make me? And I don't think we can do much better than the Westminster Confession from the 1600s. Scottish divines drafted a series of questions and answers to help teach children, frankly, basic theology of what it meant to know God and live for God. And the very first question, Westminster Shorter Catechism, question number 1, says, what is the chief end of man? In modern English, we would say, what is the purpose of man? Not just me, but man, mankind, humanity. And their answer is the chief end of man is to glorify God and enjoy Him forever. And that alone should fill up a lifetime of meditation and prayer and study and looking into the Word of God to understand. But that's, again, whatever you want to call it, purpose, chief end, raison d'etre, whatever you want to call it, doesn't matter. But at the foundational level, we have got to come to grips with the fact that the purpose of God for my life, the reason He made me and everybody else around me, is that we might glorify Him and enjoy Him forever. And that never changes. In eternity, that is not going to change. That is the reason that God made man. Then you move down to the second, and this is, people again use different terms. I'm going to use the word calling. Some people will use different words, but calling works for me. And I use it in the sense that God not only made me and all of us for a purpose, but He also has a specific thing, a specific role, if you will, to which He is inviting me. That's really the meaning of the word call, kaleo. It's a divine invitation that comes with power, and this invitation to be something within His kingdom, a particular role, not a job, but a specific role kind of in life. Some people will equate this with your gifting. However you want to put words around it, I do think I need to understand, okay, Lord, You made me to glorify You and enjoy You forever. And what is the role? What is the calling that is on my life? And in my life, I would tell you that I am called, sort of give you two levels. One is as a pastor, not a church pastor, but an equipper of men, a discipler of men, one who helps others fulfill their own work, their own calling. So that's part of it. And I would broaden that to say I am a pastor in the business place, a pastor in the market. I am a business person, but I'm not just called to do business personally. I am called to equip people in business and through business. So again, you wrestle with that and you say, okay, Lord, are there particular gifts and inclinations and opportunities that you put in my life that help me understand that for which you called me, made me to glorify you, enjoy you forever, called me to do what? Again, it's a pretty broad concept. But then this is where we all get frustrated, and I hope find help. There's this third word I use, which is, what is my assignment? And that is the thing that changes, frankly, constantly. I mean, I've had many assignments in my life. When I came to know Christ in college, I was assigned to help start a church on a university campus. I later became and served as a pastor of a church for 15 years. That was my assignment. By the way, it wasn't just one church. It was actually 3 churches. So I had an assignment, changing assignment. My purpose was the same, my calling was the same, but my assignment changed regularly. And then I left that to go into business to reach lost people, and that then gave way to helping in the early days of the business as mission movement. And now today, I would say my assignment is, as an older brother, to start equipping and mobilizing the next generation to take business as mission to the next level that God has designed for that movement in the world today. So those 3 things help me think biblically and practically about this whole question of what am I supposed to be doing? I'm supposed to be glorifying God and learning to enjoy Him in anticipation of heaven. Second, I have a particular role to play within His world, within His kingdom, that based on gifting and opportunity and desire and motivations. And then thirdly, I have an assignment, which is today. And those assignments change, and I need to know what all those things are. Here's a good piece of news. This very short little video cast. And that is that if you are uncertain, take the next step in front of you. Don't freeze, don't worry, don't fret. It's not that you're not going to mess up the kingdom. You're not going to mess up eternity, yours or anybody else's. Just walk in the freedom that a sheep would walk with, following his or her shepherd. And I think that's the real secret to the whole thing. I hope this helps. Look forward to more conversations with you as topics come up along the way.